What's going on, everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Razer Kishi Ultra. This is Razer's brand new USB Type-C telescopic controller for your Android or your iOS device, and this will fit devices up to 8.8 inches, like the Lenovo Y700 and even the iPad mini. Now, unfortunately, this will not fit the 11-inch iPad. I've tested it. I've also tested it with the Galaxy Tab S9. But then again, they never advertised it as working with those devices, so I really can't complain. If you're not familiar with these telescopic controllers, some people do call them stretchy controllers because as you can see, we've got that extension in the middle. This does connect to your device over USB Type-C, so we don't have to worry about Bluetooth latency, and mine might look a little different than the ones you've seen in pictures. This is the Founders Edition. Everything else is the same except for kind of the skin on it. We've got that Razer green skin, and yeah, I mean, it actually feels really nice. It is a full-size controller. They haven't downsized anything. If we were to put this thing together, without the center section, it'd be about as big as an Xbox controller. So if you're tired of those really small Bluetooth controllers that you'll find over on Amazon, then this might be a really good option. But it is a bit pricey. If you're familiar with the original Razer Kishi or the Kishi Pro, then you know that for the face buttons and the D-pad they used micro switches. This is no different. We don't have any kind of conductive pads under here. They're all micro switches. And usually I'm not a huge fan of that, but what they've done with this D-pad is actually really nice. It's got some nice roll to it, and this does support pass-through charging. I will have to do some testing just to see how fast we can charge our device while it's in the controller. But over here on this side, we've got a screenshot button, home button, and our select button, plus an analog stick and our D-pad. Over here on the right-hand side, we've got all of our face buttons, our start button, our other analog stick, and a dedicated Razer Nexus button. So with the Razer Nexus app installed, we can press this at any given time, and it'll bring us right in there. It's actually a really nice little launcher for Android. And for anybody out there who's been missing a 3.5mm audio jack for their iPhone or their Android device, this controller will add it. So while it's connected over USB Type-C, we've got access to this audio jack right here. This also adds 2 extra programmable buttons up top, along with our analog triggers and our shoulder buttons. And inside of the box, this actually comes with a few little extras. So these little rubber grommets here actually go in place where your phone's going to sit. So for different devices, you may want to raise it up or lower it down. For what I've tested so far, the ones that came pre-installed work just fine. And around back, we've got this really nice textured grip on both sides, so it makes it really easy to hang on to. If you haven't noticed by now, it's a pretty big mobile controller, and that's because they went full size with it. And of course, we are getting much larger phones. So just keep this in mind. I've got the Pixel AA here that I wanted to put in here just to show you. The controller kind of dwarfs this phone here. Now something like the Galaxy S24 Ultra or even an 8-inch tablet is going to look great in here, but I do think it looks a bit odd with these smaller devices. But of course, throwing that S24 Ultra in here, I mean, it just fits perfectly. And again, I didn't have to swap out those grommets. We've also got some RGB on the front that's fully controllable from Razer Nexus. And if you look right here, there's 2 cutouts on each side. What this is going to do is actually create a little sound chamber for our phone. That way the sound is directed right to us. But then again, we've got that 3.5mm audio jack, so we can always plug in a nice headset. I wish this would extend a bit further so I could use the Tab S9 and even the new iPad Pro. But what I've got here is the Lenovo Y700. This is the 2024 edition with that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. One of my favorite gaming tablets right now. It's got an 8.8-inch display, and it does fill up the controller very nicely. I mean, it fits in here perfectly. From Google Play, we've got access to Razer Nexus, and I've used this on devices even without the Kishi. I think it's a nice little launcher. Also gives you some recommendations on games to play. But from this, with the new Razer Kishi Ultra, we do have a lot of settings to mess around with. We can fully adjust the RGB, set the dead zones on the analog sticks. Heading right into the settings, up top here you'll see we've got an option to go directly in the X input mode, and this means if the game on Android supports controllers, this controller is going to work with it without using an on-screen mapper. We can also adjust the vibration strength, and from that 3.5mm audio jack, if you're using a headset, there is a voice filter built in with Razer Nexus. We can also adjust the dead zones on the analog sticks. I've just set mine to default, so we can go for the left and the right. And we can adjust the triggers. And remember, we've got those 2 extra keys. They can be mapped from Razer Nexus, so you can set them up for basically any key. And of course, we do have some RGB control here. I'm not sure if they're going to be adding more settings down the road, but we can adjust the brightness. We have a few different cycles that we can go through. You can set this up to be constantly on, choose a solid static color if you want to. Personally, I like the wave mode, and we can actually go from low, medium to high, so it'll cycle through a little slower or quite fast at the highest setting there. There's a few static colors set up already, but we can also add custom colors using the color wheel here. So, I mean, no matter what color you're looking for with this RGB, they've got you covered. I'm going to go back to wave, and I usually leave it at slow, but we've also got that medium preset, and fast is just kind of crazy fast. Plus, we can update the firmware on this controller once a firmware update is available. Now, heading back into Razer Nexus, we do have a built-in mapper, so games like Genshin Impact on Android just don't natively support controllers, so we can set up on-screen touch points to correspond with the physical buttons. And I gotta say, the overall feel of the controller is very solid. This D-pad here is something that I'm not used to. I do not like these dish style, but the roll on it feels pretty nice, even though they're using micro switches. This is something I could get used to, and we will be testing it in a fighting game by the end of the video. The triggers here are fully linear, so playing your favorite racing games, you can just give it a little bit of gas, and we've got quite a bit of throw here when it comes to these mobile controllers. Usually it's not that much, but with this, we've got plenty of throw on those triggers. If we take a look at the Nexus launcher, at the bottom of each game, it's going to tell us if this supports certain features that the controller supports, like its audio haptics. This will give us more feedback, and of course, when it comes to like Genshin Impact, we've got that built-in mapper we can use. But if you were to use this for emulation or just native Android games that support controllers, it's going to work out of the box. Something like Minecraft, which has definitely been on the market for a while, supports all kinds of controllers. There's no setup you need to do here. It's just going to work as soon as you start the game up. And as for emulation, for the most part, controllers are usually already preset, but something like Dolphin, you will have to go in and map it. That's just the case with any controller. But yeah, just keep in mind, I mean, if you're trying to pick this up for emulation, you're not going to have an issue with it. Moving over to my Galaxy S24 Ultra, pressing that Nexus button will launch the application as long as it's installed, and I haven't started it up yet, so it's going to give me a little bit of a walkthrough. Need to give a few permissions here and there, especially for that on-screen mapper. And at any given time, if we press that Nexus button again, it'll bring us right out of the application. We can go right back into it. And they're actually calling this virtual controller. So again, right there at the bottom, we can enable it or disable it. And I have not tested it yet, so I'm going to do a quick setup. Shouldn't be too hard. As you can see, we've got that overlay. From the drop-down menu, it looks like all we really need to do is kind of drag everything where we need it. Our left and our right analog stick. And for this one, I'm not going to use the D-pad. I probably shouldn't even brought it up on screen. But for each button, we'll just add a new button, press a corresponding key. It's going to program to that touch point. And once we get everything set up, we can drag them where we want them. And this is just a quick and dirty setup. I do not need that D-pad for this game, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. We'll just press that check mark. Everything should be saved, and now we've got that virtual controller working with Genshin Impact. And of course, taking your time setting this up properly is definitely the way to go. So far, so good. The virtual controller is working here, and the camera movement is really smooth. I've used a lot of the third-party mapper apps on Google Play, and most of the time I notice a lot of hitching while turning that camera. This is really smooth. Now we're going to test out this D-pad, and the roll on this thing is great. You can actually hear those micro switches moving, so you kind of know where everything is. Roll on the D-pad is pretty decent. It's got a much different feel than having conductive pads, and that's what really kind of throws me off because I'm so used to using controllers with conductive pads. Pulling off the easier special moves, not a problem, but now we need to move into some uppercut territory. And this is where these dish-style D-pads always give me issues. It's a weird movement you need to do here, and with a regular D-pad, it does come off really easy. But with these dish style, sometimes you get hung up on one of those angles, and I do notice that since this has the dish and the texture of a real D-pad, kind of getting my thumb caught on that texture. The next thing I wanted to take a look at was just how fast we can charge using the pass-through charging system here. What I've got is the Red Magic 8 Pro, so this will charge at up to 65 watts, and I don't think we're going to do 65 watts through the controller. This is my battery pack that actually gives me voltage out and amperage. We can multiply that and find out exactly how fast this thing's charging. And it looks like 5 volts at 2.3 amps, so we're close to 15 watts there. It's not quite at 15, and I've seen other controllers do much less than this. It will keep your device topped up, but it's not a super fast charger through here. And again, I've tested a lot of these USB Type-C controllers. I think the highest I've ever seen was 20 watts from a company known as GameSir. The last thing I wanted to do was make sure that these analog sticks zero back out once we're done using them. This is just going to let us know if we'd have any drift with these, and it does look like everything's zeroing back out. Very smooth. Love the fact that we've got a full-size controller here. I've been getting kind of tired of the smaller mobile controllers, especially ones that are using the Switch-style analog sticks. These have full-size analog sticks, lots of movement there, and they feel very nice. Overall, I think they've built a really nice controller here, and I could get used to the dish-style D-pad with those micro switches, but it would have been nice if we had the option to just go to a real D-pad on this unit. But yeah, if you're interested in learning a little more about this, I'll leave some links in the description. I did mention it's pretty expensive. Right now, this is actually $150 for this controller, which makes it one of the most expensive mobile controllers on the market right now. And for a lot of people out there, it might not be worth it, and I completely understand that. But if you're one of those people who do want to pick something like this up, I'll leave a link in the description. But that's going to wrap it up for this video, and like always, thanks for watching.